leadership. Taiwan digs its heels in, says we'll do whatever it takes for self-defense. China in panic mode summons the US ambassador over Pelosi's visit, likely to halt natural sand exports to Taiwan. As the world watches the unfolding mega face-off with bated breath, Russia backs China, calls Pelosi's visit a clear provocation. Good morning and welcome. You are watching live and breaking on Republic TV, and we begin with the Tiranga rally that's taking place in Delhi. In fact, Piyush is reporting on it. Piyush, good morning. People have, of course, gathered at the Red Fort. Take us through what's happening.
Public will be watching us and looking at us. We must set examples to others. We must maintain discipline, decorum and dynamism. Keep that in mind. This is an initiative of the Ministry of Cultural Affairs. I would like to compliment Sri Kishan Reddy, Minister, for taking this initiative. This is to inculcate personal contact between the citizens of India and the national flag. That is the purpose of this yatra. The chosen location of Red Fort for this rally adds to great significance to the initiative. My dear sisters and brothers, the celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav over the past year, marking the India's glorious 75 years of freedom, culminates this Independence Day. That's why it's all the more important. आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव सचमुच में ये अगस्त 15 को समाप्त होगा. इसलिए this precious moments must remind us of countless sacrifice. देश का एकता के लिए, आज़ादी के लिए जो महान भावों ने कुर्बानी दिया, अपना जीवन त्याग किया, इन महान भावों का हम सब लोग इस समय पे याद रखना है और याद करना है और हमारा बच्चों को याद दिलाना है. This is a great tribute we can really pay to them. We proudly hoist our national flag, reflect on our national values, recount tales of bravery and social harmony from our freedom struggle. That is only my appeal. I don't want to make a long speech. Please recall the memory of the great sacrifices made by the freedom fighters, the path shown by our people, and the values that we have inherited from Indian culture, heritage. They have to be preserved and passed on, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region. India is one. We are one nation, one people, one country. This has to be remembered by one and all. अलग भाषा, अलग वेश, फिर भी अपना एक देश. विविधता में एकता, भारत का विशेषता. This is the message of this Tiranga. So take that message to the people, and I appeal to the members of Parliament. Take this message to the people in your constituency. See to it that everybody is involved in this program, and the program becomes a grand success. There is a cultural renaissance and awakening of the patriotism among the people, and we march forward to make India a strong, stable, prosperous and peaceful country in the world. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, vasudaika kutumbakam. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Keep that in mind and take the message forward. सबको मेरे ओर से शुभकामनाएं. नमस्कार, धन्यवाद.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. मैं बहुत आभार प्रकट करता हूं आदरणीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी का. एम नायकुड
animate from
All right, so pictures on your screen are of the Tiranga bike rally that's taking place in the national capital, being flagged off, of course, by the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu over there. Do remember that this is a celebration that, of course, is part of the Union Ministry of Culture's various events that are taking place in the 76th year of our independence. This is also part of the Azadi Ka Mahotsav that is being celebrated across the country. So these pictures on your screen are coming to you from the national capital. There are a host of events, of course, which have been lined up as part of the 75th year of India's independence. This particular one, of course, being flagged off earlier this morning, a short while ago, in fact, by the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu. Venkaiah Naidu also speaking about the rich cultural heritage of our country, also giving out a clear message of unity amongst diversity. So the Vice President over there flagging off this rally that is taking off from Vijay Chowk, I think. A host of events, of course, have been lined up as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Maha Utsav, also including the Har Ghar Tiranga initiative that has been launched by the union government. Now, pictures on your screen are of the Vice President who flags off this rally, as well as other senior leaders of including, I think, the Minister of Culture also there right now. So the Tiranga bike rally being flagged off from the national capital.
हाँ, सब मिलेगा, उधर सब है, ये आ रहे हैं जैसे उपराष्ट्रपति जाएंगे उस तरह से। हाँ, उपराष्ट्रपति जैसे ही प्रस्थान करेंगे उसके बाद हम यात्रा शुरू।
Well, the Culture Ministry, of course, has organized a Tiranga bike rally that takes place from the Red Fort to Parliament for the MPs of all parties. Now, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi is also present, I think, in that rally. The rally, of course, was flagged off just a short while ago by the Vice President Venkaiah Naidu over there. He also gave out a message of peace and harmony. As I was pointing out earlier, of course, this rally takes place from Red Fort to Parliament, and MPs of all parties are believed to be participating in this rally. Let's cut across live to Priyanka, who's reporting from New Delhi on this. Priyanka, this, of course, is part of the Azadi Ka Mahotsav celebrations that we are seeing in this year, that is the 75th year of our independence.
सबने तो इसमें यात्रा के आयोजन में मदद की है। मीडिया कर्मियों का आभार प्रकट करता हूँ, विशेष करके मीडिया कर्मियों का।
Priyanka, can you hear us?
प्रेस के बंधुओं का, जिन्होंने इस यात्रा के प्रचार।
All right, I don't think Priyanka can hear me over there, but
सब एकजुट होकर तिरंगा यात्रा में जुटे हैं। बहुत सारे केंद्रीय मंत्री, सांसद, अलग अलग दलों के नेता वो भी इसमें जुड़े हैं। मैं चाहता था विपक्षी दल भी बड़ी संख्या में जुड़ते, लेकिन वो तिरंगा यात्रा में नहीं जुड़े। लेकिन अपने अपने क्षेत्रों में तिरंगा यात्रा वो अवश्य करें, क्योंकि ये संदेश है आज की पीढ़ी को, आने वाली पीढ़ियों को, कि हम सब भारत को एकजुट रखेंगे, भारत को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, भारत को और मजबूत और ताकतवर बनाएंगे।
उपराष्ट्रपति जी प्रस्ताव कर गए हैं, यात्रा प्रारंभ हो रही है, सभी व्यवस्था बनाए रखें। बहुत ही सुंदर दृश्य।
And of course was Anurag Thakur over there, who's participating in this rally, also urging MPs from the opposition to participate. Let me go across to Priyanka. Priyanka, if you can hear me now, give us a sense of what's happening around you. These pictures that are coming in of this bike rally, extremely colorful, of course.
आप अगर कहीं भीड़ नजर आ जाए या कुछ
देखिए मैं आपको सारी चीज समझाती हूँ। यहाँ पर हमारे पीछे अभी बीजेपी सांसद मीनाक्षी लेखी जी हैं, और यहाँ पर सैकड़ों हजारों की तादाद में लोग पहुंचे हुए हैं। यहाँ पर तिरंगा महोत्सव, हर घर तिरंगा अभियान के तहत रैली का आगाज हो चुका है, और यहाँ पर देखिए हम पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं ताकि इस रैली में पीछे न रहे, लगातार आगे हम चलते रहे। इसलिए कोशिश है कि एक तस्वीर दिखाएं। यहाँ पर 13 से 15 अगस्त तक कोशिश है यहाँ बीजेपी की तरफ से कि किसी भी पार्टी का नहीं है, यहाँ बाकी और पार्टियों के सांसद भी पहुंचे, उनको भी निमंत्रण दिया गया है। और यहाँ पर देखिए, आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर केंद्रीय मंत्री, यहाँ पर सांसदगण, यहाँ पर भारी तादाद में लोग पहुंचे हुए हैं और दूर दराज से लोग पहुंचे हैं। हमारे पीछे मीनाक्षी लेखी जी हैं, सीधा हम उनको माइक देंगे और कोशिश करेंगे कि वो अगर माइक पकड़कर अपनी प्रतिक्रिया दे पाए, क्योंकि यहाँ स्कूटी चलाते हुए माइक से प्रतिक्रिया लेना थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा। मीनाक्षी जी, क्या संभव होगा आपके लिए? भारत माता की नारे लग रहे हैं यहाँ पर, भारत कोशिश करते हैं।
All right, so those, of course, are parliamentarians who are undertaking this Tiranga bike rally from Red Fort to Parliament. This, of course, has been organized by the Culture Ministry. It's an initiative which is part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Vice President of the country, Venkaiah Naidu, of course, inaugurated this rally just a short while ago, and MPs of all political parties have been asked to participate in it, but what we are given to understand is that several opposition MPs have given this event a skip. Anurag Thakur, of course, was part of the rally earlier, and Meenakshi Lekhi also bike-borne right now. So all these, I think that appears to be Smriti Irani, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's Smriti Irani, who's also on that bike over there. So this, of course, is part of the several programs that have essentially been launched by the Centre for celebrating 75 years of India's independence. I think I'm going to cut across live on the ground to Piyush. Piyush, pictures coming in extremely colourful this morning. This, of course, is part of the Azadi Ka Mahotsav program that's been launched by the Centre. This particular event, Piyush, organised by the Ministry of Culture? All right, viewers can, of course, understand that this is an extremely colourful event. Also, a large number of those bikes are making their way, so we are having connectivity issues. But just to tell our viewers that this, of course, is an extremely is one of the programs that has been put in place by the Ministry of Culture. MPs are riding from Red Fort to Parliament. Piyush, if you can hear me, take us through what's happening around you. Colourful visuals coming in.
See as to how there is a bike rally which is being organized by the Ministry of Culture. Parliamentarians from BJP and other parts of other constituents of NDA, they are taking part in this. Krishnapal Gujjar is also taking part in this. Sir, क्या मैसेज आप हिस्सा ले रहे हैं बाइक रैली में?
देखिए, सभी देशवासियों को आज संदेश दिया जा रहा है। आज सांसद बाइक रैली है जो विजय चौक तक जाएगी कि 13 से 15 अगस्त तक सभी देशवासी अपने अपने घरों पर तिरंगा फहराएं। और आज तिरंगा पूरी दुनिया में भारत के स्वाभिमान का प्रतीक है। पूरी दुनिया में तिरंगे का सम्मान बढ़ा है उसका, इसलिए पूरे देश के हर घर में तिरंगा फहरे, इसके लिए ये बाइक रैली निकाली जा रही है।
Bike rally is being organized to send out a message to the people across the country to hoist a tricolor on their roofs from 13th to 15th of August. Right behind me, you can see sea of tricolors, people taking part in this Tiranga Yatra with chants of Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. You can see Venkaiah Naidu is the one who had basically flagged off this entire Tiranga rally, and this rally will go towards the Vijay Chowk in Delhi. We are in Parliament, and the message is being sent out to the people to hoist a tricolor from 13th to 15th of August. Anurag Thakur is also sitting there, who is going to take part in this bike rally. G. Kishan Reddy, Ministry of Culture Minister, is also there. Even he will take part in that. So it's a huge program which has been organized by Ministry of Culture. And if you can talk to us. Okay, there's a so he's facing some problem in speaking. G. Kishan Reddy is facing some problem in speaking, but yes, he's taking part in this bike rally. Let's try to show you more and more pictures. I would ask Vivek to come with me. Then we will move more beyond and then try to get more pictures. You can see how there's a massive gathering which has taken place here at Red Fort, where people from different parts of the Delhi have come here. Sir, क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे? सर, मैसेज क्या देना चाहेंगे आप?
भारत की शान बान आन की प्रतीक है तिरंगा। आज आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव के शुभ अवसर पर सभी सांसदों ने भारत माता के जयकारा लगाते हुए आज से अभी पूरा देश में जो हर घर तिरंगा का कार्यक्रम शुरू किया गया है।
all parliamentarians are taking part in this. We will also try to, take part in this Tiranga rally. Is Tiranga rally? I would ask my video journalist, कोई है आपके साथ to sit with them, to sit with them. We will also try to take part in this Tiranga rally, and then we'll try to show you more pictures. चलिए भैया, चलिए. आप आगे ले लीजिए. आप आगे ले लीजिए. हाँ, चलिए.
प्रचार करने आज निकले हैं हमारे सभी माननीय मंत्रीगण, माननीय सांसद.
चलिए दादा, वो बाइक, वो कैमरा, वो आगे चलिए आगे. हाँ, मैं पकड़ लेता हूँ. हाँ. Taking place from which has now begun from Red Fort, which is now begun from the Red Fort. We'll try to show you different colors. I would ask Vivek to continue to show you the pictures. We are taking part in this थोड़ा आगे चलिएगा, in this Tiranga rally, Tiranga bike rally, which has now begun from Red Fort. Many parliamentarians have taken part in this bike rally, Tiranga bike rally, which has now begun from Red Fort. They are going towards the Parliament, so it's a big day. A message is being sent out clearly by the parliamentarians to hoist tricolor on their respective houses from 13th to 15th of August. So it's a huge Tiranga bike rally, which has now begun from Red Fort. We'll have to wait and watch how this program is further going to be continued. But yes, a clear message being sent out by the government, by the Ministry of Culture, and also is being told to people across the country to take part in flag hoisting ceremony on their roofs from 13th to 15th of August. So we are continuously showing you live pictures from this Tiranga bike rally, which has now kick-started from Red Fort. This bike rally will go towards the Vijay Chowk in Delhi, and till there we will be also taking part in this bike rally. We are also following all the precautions by wearing helmet, and also we are also taking part in this bike rally, which has now been kick-started.
अपने कर्तव्य बोध को ध्यान में लेते हुए हर घर तिरंगा फहराने का, भारत के भविष्य को लहराने का काम करें.
So we are. Let me also try to get in a word from this person with whom I am sitting. आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? आप भी तिरंगा यात्रा में हिस्सा लिया आपने?
हाँ जी,
बोलिए, क्या कहेंगे आप?
आज हमारे लिए बहुत ही हर्षोल्लास का दिन है. आज हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री मोदी जी की वजह से ये संभव हो पाया है. जी. और यहाँ से विजय चौक तक जा रहे हैं. 13 अगस्त से 15 अगस्त तक जो है, ये कहा गया है कि आप झंडा लहराएं अपनी छतों पर. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप? हम तो पूरे साल झंडा लहराते हैं, कोई आज स्पेशल नहीं है. हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं. आप क्या कहेंगे? हेलो, ये तिरंगा यात्रा में आप हिस्सा ले रहे हैं, क्या कहेंगे?
जी, बहुत अच्छा है, और हम सबको अपने घर पे तिरंगा लगाना चाहिए, और इससे अपनी देश की शान बढ़ती है. और
that is the message by the people. And now here there are few people who are now saying
हर काम में जुट जाएं, उठ जाओ और जुट जाओ. कुछ ऐसा नहीं जो हम पा नहीं सकते, और कुछ ऐसा नहीं जो हम कर नहीं सकते. यही हमारी प्रेरणा हो, और भारत का तिरंगा हर मन में लहराए. जी, ये तो बहुत ही खुशी का माहौल है, और चारों तरफ जो ये माहौल है तिरंगा यात्रा का, वो आप सबके सामने है. हर भारतीय के मन में बसता है तिरंगा.
इसे किसी एक पार्टी से जोड़ के देखना
बिल्कुल गलत है. ये कोई पार्टी और कोई राजनीतिक व्यवस्था का हिस्सा नहीं है. भारत पर जिन वीर और वीरांगनाओं ने अपना सर्वस्व न्यौछावर किया, उनको श्रद्धांजलि देते हुए, भारत के प्रति एकता का भाव रखते हुए, देश को सर्वस्व न्यौछावर करने की प्रेरणा का प्रतीक है. जी 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 हाँ जी, हमारे कार्यक्रम लगातार दिल्ली में होने वाले हैं और पूरे देश भर में होने वाले हैं। और हर घर तिरंगा का जो आयोजन है वो हर घर के ऊपर तिरंगा लहराएगा और वही हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ा संदेश है। हाँ जी, हर घर में जाएगा।
आ जाओ, आगे आ जाओ। Well, yes, we are showing you the live pictures of this Tiranga rally, Tiranga bike rally, which is now kick-started from Red Fort of Delhi towards the Vijay Chowk. We are showing you the live pictures of these people who have taken part in this Tiranga Yatra. A message is being sent out, clear message being sent out by the people from Delhi to hoist the tricolor from 13th of August till 15th of August. Remember that the people across the country are also celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 15 years of independence. Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Vande Mataram. These are the chants with which these people are taking part in this huge Tiranga rally. We also spoke to multiple parliamentarians where they sent out a clear message that they want to tell to the people across the country to take part in the weekday-long celebrations. Remember that BJP has planned out multiple events where not only in Delhi but across the country, the members of the workers of BJP will be going to different households and will request people to take part in similar Tiranga Yatras. Massive traffic arrangements have also been made. We are showing you how green light has been given for the people who are taking part in the Tiranga Yatra. So across the Delhi, beginning from Red Fort till Vijay Chowk, multiple arrangements have been made. Traffic has been stopped for the people who are part of this Tiranga Yatra. Now we have now reached here. We have now reached till at the ITO area of Delhi, and from here we will be moving towards the Vijay Chowk, and you can see right behind me people chanting slogans Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Vande Mataram. So euphoric environment here where people of Delhi and also parliamentarians have taken part in this Tiranga Yatra, which has begun from Red Fort going towards the Vijay Chowk till Parliament. This Tiranga Yatra is going and a clear message is being sent. And also you can see, if Vivek can zoom, a balloon, a tricolor balloon is also flying there in the sky right above us. So a message is being sent to get united, to take part in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which will begin from the next week. And today is the first day where on this day, the government is sending out a message. आप भी तिरंगा यात्रा में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं, क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे आप?
भारत अखंड हो, भारत मजबूत हो, भारत माता की।
आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
मैं नो कमेंट।
So Bharat Akhand ho, Bharat Majboot ho. That is also a message being sent out by the people who have taken part in this Tiranga bike rally. Any minute from now we will be reaching there to Vijay Chowk where this yatra will culminate. But yes, we saw how parliamentarians from different political parties took part in this Tiranga bike rally, and thousands of people from Delhi also took part in this. So it's a massive day, huge day, where people are now observing, taking part in this Tiranga Yatra. Tiranga Yatra. We are continuously showing you the pictures coming in from Delhi's Mandi House area, and now from here we are moving towards the Vijay Chowk. Now after this very short break, we will get more and more pictures as the Tiranga Yatra is going on, which has kick-started from Red Fort and will culminate there at Vijay Chowk. Stay tuned for more and more updates and keep watching Republic TV.
In the CBSE 2022 boards, the toppers for classes 12 and 10 are from Amity once again. At Amity, we are privileged to educate brilliant students and express our gratitude to our teachers and school leaders who passionately work for the success of our children.
मैं भी ये चाहता हूँ, हमेशा दिल में सोता हूँ शाम को, मेरे को दर्द होता है कलेजे के अंदर कि चाइना आए तो आज भी मैं खाने के लिए तैयार हूँ। युद्ध भूमि में दुश्मन से जब हम लड़ा करते थे, तूफानों को मोड़ दिया करते थे। अभी जितना बॉर्डर पर मारते हैं उतना तो हम रोड पर छोड़ दिया करते थे।
The only thing which is still in his mind is Naam, Namak and Nishan. Naam of his battalion.
Yes.
Namak, of course, he is eating off the banner, and the Nishan of the banner he is carrying.
इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट किया।
हाँ।
और इंडियन फ्लैग को वहाँ पे देखा इटली में, तो कैसा लगा तुम्हें?
जब मैं वहाँ पहुंची मैंने देखा इंडिया का फ्लैग, वाह, ये तो मैं इतनी खुश होगी कि नहीं, अब तो कुछ करके दिखाना है। इंडिया का फ्लैग ऊपर होना चाहिए, बस इतना मैं चाहती थी और वो मैंने कर दिखाया।
अगर आप इंडिया रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हो ना, हार नहीं माननी है, क्योंकि गोल्ड तो लेकर ही आना है आपको। बचपन से सर एक ड्रीम है मेरा, अब एक तो अपनी गेम को प्रोफेशनली यूज करना है, प्रोफेशनली आगे बढ़ाना है और वर्ल्ड ओलंपिक्स में गोल्ड लाना है इंडिया के लिए, अपनी स्टेट के लिए।
So this is the place he was heading here. This is the heart of Kabul. This is the place where a lot of ministries are located here. You know, the Taiwan Shirpur, one of the places in Kabul, on the entrance of Al-Qaeda organization, Taiwan is headed.
Well, pictures on your screen are of the Tiranga bike rally that's taking place in the national capital. Piyush is reporting on this. Piyush, colourful pictures coming in there. I don't think we've got Piyush.
Showing you the pictures coming in from Delhi, where the Tiranga Yatra is now underway. I would ask Vivek to show you the live pictures. We are also taking part in this Tiranga Yatra. Remember that this will culminate there at Vijay Chowk, and there was a meeting took place of the NDA constituents, where it was also decided that all the parliamentarians of BJP will take part in such yatras and programs in coming week, and also they will take part in all the events marking the 75 years of independence. After this very short break, we will be getting more and more details, as the Tiranga Yatra is all set to culminate there at Vijay Chowk of Delhi, and thousands of people have taken part in this huge Tiranga Yatra. And after this very short break, we'll get more and more details. Stay tuned for more updates.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge.
I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. Now, you all know that I'm no fan of American foreign policy, but I'm so glad that the Americans are calling China's bluff this minute. That's the live developing story in Taiwan. I know that America is doing all of this to distract from their internal problems. Their economy is tanking, reaching near recession levels. There is gun violence all over America. It's a complete mess. Job cuts have started. Inflation is sky high. And I know and you know that the weak Biden has sent Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan to distract the angry and frustrated.
The full road has been blocked by the Congress workers, the high voltage drama.
Nancy Pelosi lands in Taiwan.
Top headlines at 9:30 a.m. China in a flux. Pelosi in Taiwan, despite threats of serious consequences from Beijing. Pelosi meets Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen, says wants world to recognize Taiwan's leadership. Taiwan digs its heels in, says will do whatever it takes for self-defense. China on war footing escalates mega military drills near Taiwan. As world watches unfolding of mega face-off with bated breath, Russia backs China, calls Pelosi's visit a clear provocation. A very good morning. You're watching Republic TV. We are giving you these live pictures from Tiranga bike rally in the national capital, where you can see that there is a mega rally. Hundreds line up for the mega Tiranga rally. This has been organized by the Culture Ministry, and the rally will take place and it's happening as we speak from the Red Fort to the Parliament for the MPs of all parties. And in fact, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi has appealed all MPs to attend the event. All right, Piyush is right over there with us. Piyush, give us an update. We can see that the rally has kicked off. A lot of action happening there. All right, we'll be getting to Piyush. Is right over there where all the action is happening. The visuals you see on your screen of the bike rally, which has kick-started already. And remember that PM Modi has already urged everyone to hoist or display the national flag at their house between August 13th and 15th. And today, a Tiranga bike rally is happening in the national capital. We're getting you all the updates from ground. We had also seen Meenakshi Lekhi speaking to Republic on why it's important for everyone to participate in the Tiranga bike rally in the national capital. And this is the big story we are tracking at this point of time. Piyush Mishra is there on spot as well, and we'll be going to him very soon. But a lot of appeal by a lot of MPs as well for all party members to take out the bike rally to publicize the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. While the youth wing also across the country of the BJP is carrying out a Tiranga Yatra on bikes. So we are seeing a lot of action and color coming in from the national capital as the Cultural Ministry is organizing the Tiranga bike rally from the Red Fort to the Parliament. And you can see that it has kicked off and hundreds have lined up on the roads to participate in the Tiranga bike rally, visuals of which you can see there on your screen, viewers. And this is, of course, a host of exercise, a part of the host of exercise for the party members during the week-long program to celebrate the 75th anniversary of India's independence. So this is one of the events which has been organized. A big message of unity coming across there from the Tiranga bike rally in the national capital. We're getting you exclusive visuals there of the Tiranga bike rally. You can, of course, see that many MPs are participating.
जी मेरे को तो खुशी है कि आप मेरे साथ रहीं और आपने गाड़ी भी चलाई, जो अगर मैं चलाती तो मैं बात नहीं कर सकती थी आपसे, मगर वो दोनों काम सॉल्व हुए जब आपने गाड़ी भी चलाई और साथ में माइक पर भी बने रहे। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपको आपका धन्यवाद।
लेकिन ये जो ऐतिहासिक दिन होने वाला है, ये बड़ा संदेश होगा बाकी और देशों के लिए भी। लगातार निरंतर भारत की मजबूत होती जा रही है।
ये संदेश भारत के एक होने का और भारत के हर भारतीय के मन में तिरंगा और अपने वीर वीरांगनाओं के प्रति जो श्रद्धा है, ये भारत की एकता और अखंडता का प्रतीक है और यही भारत के आन बान शान का प्रतीक है, क्योंकि इतना सब इस देश को आज़ाद करने में लगा, इतने लोगों ने अपनी कुर्बानी दी, बलिदान दिया, उन सबके प्रति श्रद्धांजलि का अवसर है और यही हम सब भारतीयों की प्रेरणा है कि आने वाले भारत का जो संदेश है वो क्या हो।
हमें ये जानकारी मिली है कि इस रैली में कोई भेदभाव नहीं, ये नहीं कि बीजेपी के लोग आएंगे, सबको बोला गया।
नहीं, इसमें सबको आने के लिए कहा गया और मैं पुनः आग्रह करती हूँ कि हर घर तिरंगा कार्यक्रम में अभी भी समय है, सब लोग अपने घर पर तिरंगा लगाएं और साथ में उसकी फोटो सोशल मीडिया पर डालें। कोई पार्टी और कोई व्यक्ति आपको घर में कहने के लिए नहीं आएगा। आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव है, 15 अगस्त आ रहा है, हर भारतीय अपने घर में तिरंगा लगाए।
हम देख रहे हैं अलग अलग राज्यों में तिरंगे बन रहे हैं, तो क्या जो गैर बीजेपी शासित राज्य है वहाँ पर भी ये सब
जगह ये तो पोस्ट ऑफिस के माध्यम से खरीदारी जो है तैयार है और हर भारतीय को इसमें शामिल होना चाहिए और तिरंगा अपने घर पर खरीद कर लगाना चाहिए।
अब कोई ऐसा संगीत, कोई ऐसा वाक्य आपको याद आ रहा हो जो आज के दृश्य को बताता हो और पूरी तरह से दर्शाता हो?
मैं तो यहाँ आती हूँ ना इस पर विस्टा पर, तो मुझे कुछ चीजें याद आती हैं जो मन को दुख देने वाली भी हैं। मुझे याद आता है वो समय जब मैं यहाँ कारगिल के बाद, क्योंकि होशो हवास में तो कारगिल एक ऐसा युद्ध था जो हम सब ने आंखों के पास से देखा, तो उस समय पर जब भी मैं यहाँ आती थी अपने कुछ लोगों के साथ एक रीत चढ़ाने के
And first, I would like to invite the host, our President of the Republic, Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, to make her remarks.
Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to reiterate the Taiwanese people's warm welcome to Speaker Pelosi and the delegation. We're grateful for the delegation's visit under such challenging circumstances as a demonstration of unwavering support to the people of Taiwan. The Speaker's presence here in Taiwan serves to boost public confidence in the strength of our democracy as a foundation to our partnership with the United States. I told Speaker Pelosi that we are committed to maintaining the status quo across the strait. Taiwanese people are pragmatic. We have welcomed many congressional delegations to Taiwan over the years, and the normal practice of friends visiting each other is inherent in our culture of hospitality. Military exercises are unnecessary responses. Taiwan has always been open to constructive dialogue, and we will work with stakeholders to bring about stability and peace in the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President. And now I'm honored to give the floor to Speaker Pelosi to deliver her remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam President, for your leadership and for the leadership gathered here with you today. I'm proud of my delegation. We're almost like one unit. The chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, the chairman of the Mr. Meeks, Mr. Takano, chair of Veterans Affairs, vice chairs of Foreign Energy and Ways and Means, the Trade Committee, Congresswoman Susan Delbene, a member of the Intelligence Committee, Mr. Krishnamurthy, and a member of the Foreign Affairs and Armed Services Committee, Mr. Kim. I say that because when I speak, my receiving your kind words as well as this invitation is really received and appreciated by members of Congress. On both sides of the aisle, on both sides of the Capitol, great enthusiasm for the U.S.-Taiwan relationship. Let's just put it in perspective. Over 4 decades ago, the Taiwan Relations Act was built in building a strong bond between our two countries, advancing our shared interests of governance, economy, and security, while respecting the One China policy. Our solidarity with you is more important than ever as you defend Taiwan and your freedom. In our bilateral meeting, we discussed key opportunities to deepen our partnership, upholding democracy and human rights and respect for the individual, combating, well, I'll get around to comment. 3 areas that I just mentioned: security, economy, governance. Security, our relationship is a strong one, and we discussed how we can make it stronger and more and up to date. In economy, we talked about a trade agreement that might be possible and soon. And in governance, among other things, and in governance, I want to salute Taiwan for the leadership you have provided in fighting COVID. Probably one of the highest rates of vaccination, but also the lowest number of deaths from COVID, a real model for the world. It's about science, but it's also about community acceptance of a plan, and that is called leadership. So thank you for that, a lesson to all of us. And so as we deal with those 3 areas, we come here following the President's lead on the Indo-Pacific economic framework. That's interesting. We support that. Again, in terms of security, economy, and governance. Taiwan's not a part of that, so we want to build a different set with the economic package, with our security package, and the trade agreement, hopefully, that is imminent. So this is a very important time for us because we came here to listen and to learn about how we can do this more effectively, really achieving the goals for Taiwan that we all aspire to but don't understand as fully as we do now because of this trip. So again, it's a great pride for us today, the first woman speaker in the House, meeting the first woman president of Taiwan. We have some enthusiasm for that, and again, we're very proud of our representative, Sandra Kirk, and I'm proud of my colleague, Susan Delbene. So it may took a moment to take some pride in women's leadership. Again, our delegation came here to send an unequivocal message. America stands with Taiwan. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Your Honorable. Right now, with the permission of our President and Speaker Pelosi, we'll be taking up questions from the media. So we'll proceed right now taking the first questions from Taiwanese media, and it will be raised by Mr. Joseph Ye from CNA. Joseph?
President Tsai, Madam Speaker, I'm Joe from the Central News Agency. I'm representing more than hundreds of Taiwanese media. I was given one question, so the question will be a little bit long. So please bear with me, because we have waited for 25 years for this chance. So you're the first House Speaker to visit Taiwan in 25 years. So do you foresee that your visit will bring up even more similar high senior official U.S. to visit Taiwan in the future, or maybe future speakers? This is the first part of my question. And the second part is, in accordance with Taiwan Travel Act, high-level visit a two-way thing. So a lot of U.S. congressmen has proposed President Tsai to speak at U.S. Congress, if possible. Do you see that it could realize anytime soon in the near future, especially under your leadership in the House? And the final question is, I'm sorry, 25 years again, sorry. The final question is, how do you see how the Chinese welcome you with military exercise and sanctions against Taiwan? Do you foresee that? Thank you.
Well, first let me thank you for your questions on behalf of all of those other people. And to say that in terms of our visit here, and would that lead to other visits, I certainly hope so. But I think it's important to note that members of Congress, several of them have made trips just earlier this year. 5 senators, bipartisan, came, again, including the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee, Mr. Menendez, came, not too much of a fuss was made. Individual senators have made trips or plan to make trips. And I just hope that it's really clear that while China has stood in the way of Taiwan participating and going to certain meetings, that they understand that they will not stand in the way of people coming to Taiwan. It's a show of friendship, of support, but also a source of learning about how we can work together better in collaboration. So, I think that they made a big fuss because I'm speaker, I guess. I don't know if that was a reason or an excuse, because they didn't say anything when the men came. What the second part was,
invited to the U.S. Congress to make.
Oh, that was the third part, but I'll go there. Okay. That was the third part I thought. We haven't had a joint session in probably 3 years in Congress, partially because of COVID, but even before that it was Christmas and all that. So we haven't had many joint sessions, but we have tried to accommodate visits by bringing together, both sides of the aisle and both sides of the Capitol. And I would hope that that opportunity would be there. The joint session has become something, again, because of COVID, we aren't able to. It's even hard for us to do the President's State of the Union address, because you have the space and you have the time and, well, here we are. I don't know. I think that whatever China was going to do, they will do in their own good time. What excuse they may use to do it is another thing. But you really know more about that than I do. I do think that it's really important for the message to be clear that in the Congress, House and Senate, Democrats and Republicans are committed to the security of Taiwan in order to have Taiwan be able to most effectively defend themselves. But it also is about our shared values of democracy and freedom, and how Taiwan has been an example to the world in that regard. And whether it's certain insecurities on the part of the president of China as to his own political situation, that he's rattling a saber, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. What matters to us is that we salute the successes of Taiwan. We work together for the security of Taiwan, and we just take great lessons from the democracy in Taiwan.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Right now we take questions from the international media, and I would like to invite Samson Ellis. He is the Taipei Bureau Chief of Bloomberg News. Samson?
Oh, thank you.
Madam President, Madam Speaker, we have seen the Chinese authorities take multiple economic actions against individual Taiwanese companies and entire sectors of the economy here. Taiwan has already paid a cost for your visit and is likely to continue to do so over the coming days and weeks. What concrete, tangible benefits can you promise Taiwan to offset the cost of your trip?
Well, at the same time as this trip is taking place, and in recognition of our common interest economically, we just passed the Chips and Science Act. This is something that opens the door for us to, again, have better economic exchanges. I know that some Taiwan businesses, significant ones, are already planning to invest in manufacturing in the United States. And the ingenuity, the entrepreneurial spirit, the brain power, whatever, the intellectual resource that exists in Taiwan, and the success of the tech industry here, for one sector, has been really a model. And again, we want to increase our relationship. So I think that I would be saying that would be a goal we share, but with the CHIPS Act, we're really facilitating reaching that goal. And it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting, and I think that you will see a recognition of the scientific success that Taiwan has had, being a model for how we go forward. That's why our bill is called Chips and Science.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Right now, last but not the least, we will have a representative from the Japanese media, Mr. Ishiro Koichiro-san. He is the bureau chief of Asahi Shimbun of Japan.
Hello.
你好，总统。
Konnichiwa.
Hello, Speaker Pelosi. Konnichiwa. Thank you very much for taking my questions. My question is about the Chinese democracy. Now we are witnessing the Chinese authorities increasing various pressures, not only to Taiwanese people and Hong Kongese, but to their own citizens, I mean the Chinese people. And as a strong and long-time advocate of democracy, please let us share your ideas. How the democratic countries, including South Korea, Japan, where you are heading to, can deter China from invading Taiwan militarily, and how we can guide China toward a democratic political system. Thank you.
Well, two things. In the context, your question comes in the context of right now a struggle between autocracy and democracy in the world. We cannot back away from that. And so as China goes and uses its soft power, money and whatever, into many countries in order to get their support at the UN and other bodies, we have to recognize that has some effectiveness, because it's a lot of money and it's promises that may or may not ever be kept. So when we talk about Taiwan in that context, we have to talk from strength. We have to talk from strength. We have to talk from what Taiwan has been so good about, is being technologically advanced, whether it's in business or security. And we have to show the world, and that's one of the purposes of our trip, to show the world the success of the people of Taiwan, their courage to change their own country to become more democratic, their respect for people and the rest, and quite frankly, a model in this region in that respect, in those respects. So strength, goodwill, and again, the demonstration of a democracy that has evolved to a stronger place now, and it offers a very strong contrast to what's happening on mainland China. No more evidence needed than what happened in Hong Kong under one country, two systems. It didn't happen. But again, we're not here to talk about mainland China. We're here to talk about Taiwan. We have our our Taiwan Relations Act. We support the communiques, this, that, and the other thing that have gone before. So we're supporters of the status quo and the rest. We don't want anything to happen to Taiwan by force. So strength, and one of the biggest sources of strength is democracy. I said at a meeting earlier with the parliamentarians, in our earliest days of our founding of our country, Benjamin Franklin, our presidency, said, freedom and democracy. Freedom and democracy on one thing, security here. If we can't have either if we don't have both. So, security, economics, security, economy, and again, and governance, they're all related, and we want Taiwan to always have freedom with security, and we're not backing away from that.
Thank you very much.
Anything you'd like to add to anything?
Okay. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today's event is especially important because we are witnessing the historical visit of Speaker Pelosi to Taiwan to convey the message of the U.S. support to Taiwan. So we know, in a challenging time like this, Taiwan is not alone. We also would like to thank very especially to President Tsai Ing-wen for her leadership, her resilience, strength, and wisdom shown in leading Taiwan. Also, our sincere appreciation goes to the distinguished members of the U.S. Congress who accompanied Speaker Pelosi in her trip, and your friendship means a lot to us. Thank you so much for being here in Taiwan. Also, thanks for the presence of so many officials from the U.S. side, from the Taiwan side, whose effort made this event possible. Thank you also very much to the media friends with us today, and also hundreds right now watching the live transmission. Thank you very much to you all. Have a great day.
All right, viewers, we just saw that Pelosi-Tsai briefing where once again Nancy Pelosi says that America stands with Taiwan. That's our top story. We'll be coming back after a short break. Stay tuned.
In the CBSE 2022 boards, the toppers for classes 12 and 10 are from Amity once again. At Amity, we are privileged to educate brilliant students and express our gratitude to our teachers and school leaders who passionately work for the success of our children.
The protesters are trying to exert force on the barricades and trying to break it down.
Mr. Chatterjee, would you like to report?
Sonia Gandhi coming out of the, and we can see Priyanka Gandhi is also here along with Sonia Gandhi.
Sanjay Raut Singh outside his residence. He has come out. He has come out.
I'm reporting from right outside the Herald House. Congress karyakartas on the roads, but they were blocking the roads in the Latvian Delhi. The live images could be clearly seen in the live images. Now they are going to be detained. The police are detaining and some of the people trying to get in there into the National Herald House. They have gone to the entry point and there they are protesting against the Modi government, against the enforcement directives.
Look at the mountain of cash.
राहुल गांधी को हिरासत में लिया जा रहा है। बड़ी खबर, बड़ी जानकारी।
मैं भी ये चाहता हूँ, हमेशा दिल में सोता हूँ शाम को, मेरे को दर्द होता है कलेजे के अंदर कि चाइना आए तो आज भी मैं खाने के लिए तैयार हूँ। युद्ध भूमि में दुश्मन से जब हम लड़ा करते थे तूफानों को मोड़ दिया करते थे। अभी जितना बॉर्डर पर मारते हैं उतना तो हम रोड पे छोड़ दिया करते थे। The only thing
Viewers, you're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. Just a short while back, Nancy Pelosi and President Tsai of Taiwan had a press briefing where many important points were discussed. Nancy Pelosi once again said America stands with Taiwan, making it very clear of America's stance when it comes to Taiwan. And President Tsai has also said that there could be a possibility of a trade agreement. That is also one of the important pointers which came out of that meeting which took place between Pelosi and President Tsai. At the same time, China remains on a war footing and Taiwan military has raised the alertness level as of now. Taking a short break, much more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
मैं भी ये चाहता हूँ, हमेशा दिल में सोता हूँ शाम को, मेरे को दर्द होता है कलेजे के अंदर कि चाइना आए तो आज भी मैं खाने के लिए तैयार हूँ। युद्ध भूमि में दुश्मन से जब हम लड़ा करते थे तूफानों को मोड़ दिया करते थे। अभी जितना बॉर्डर पर मारते हैं उतना तो हम रोड पे छोड़ दिया करते थे।
only thing which is still in his mind is Naam, Namak and Nishan. Naam of his battalion.
Yes.
Namak, of course, he is eating off the banner, and the Nishan of the banner he is carrying.
इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट किया और इंडियन फ्लैग को वहाँ पे देखा इटली में, तो कैसा लगा तुम्हें?
जब मैं वहाँ पहुंची मैंने देखा इंडिया का फ्लैग, वाव, ये तो मैं इतनी खुश हो गई कि नहीं, अब तो कुछ करके दिखाना है। इंडिया का फ्लैग ऊपर होना चाहिए, बस इतना मैं चाहती थी और वो मैंने कर दिखाया।
अगर आप इंडिया रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हो ना, हार नहीं माननी है, क्योंकि गोल्ड तो लेकर ही आना है आपको। बचपन से सर एक ड्रीम है मेरा, अब एक तो अपनी गेम को प्रोफेशनली यूज करना है, प्रोफेशनली आगे बढ़ाना है और वर्ल्ड ओलंपिक्स में गोल्ड लाना है इंडिया के लिए, अपनी स्टेट के लिए।
Well, China is in a flux. Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan despite threats of serious consequences from Beijing. Nancy Pelosi meets the Taiwanese President Tsai, says wants the world to recognize Taiwan's leadership. Taiwan digs its heels in, says we'll do whatever it takes for self-defense. China is on war footing, escalates mega military drills near Taiwan. And as the world watches the unfolding mega face-off with bated breath, Russia backs China, calls Pelosi's visit a clear provocation. Good morning and thank you very much for staying with us on Republic TV. This is live and breaking. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, is in Taiwan despite serious warnings from China. Escorted by Taiwanese fighter jets, Pelosi's plane touched down in Taipei yesterday. Now, earlier, Speaker Pelosi was awarded the Order of the Propitious Clouds at the Presidential Palace, where she met the President Tsai Ing-wen. And thereafter, of course, there have been meetings between the two top leaders, and very firm words have come out from both sides. Of course, Nancy Pelosi over there saying that the U.S. continues to support democracies in Asia, and that is why she is here. Taiwan going on to say that it will safeguard its integrity. So those words are something that have obviously rattled China. We have seen reactions come in from China since yesterday. Group Captain Augustine Vinod is joining us right now. Group Captain Vinod, good morning. Thank you very much for speaking to us on Republic TV. Group Captain Vinod, you know, we've since yesterday seen a lot of saber rattling coming in from China. Now, do you think that in terms of the warnings that they have given, it's going to take a serious turn, or, you know, it's just wag the dog right now?
It's a great question, Nupur. And I'll take your indulgence for about a minute and a half to put this in perspective as to what is happening in the world, and especially in this part of the country. See, Nancy Pelosi is the first high-profile visitor from United States polity to visit Taiwan in over 2.5 decades. Her visit comes at a time when the move to Europe, you know, the entire Europe is affected by some form or manner by the war that is happening between Russia and Ukraine. United States and some of the NATO countries are indirectly involved in Russia-Ukraine war, which we have been covering for over 3 months now. So United States has been asking repeatedly other countries in the world to support them, China inclusive, which is not happening. So, and let's talk about China a little bit. China suffers from something called a middle kingdom mindset. I've written about it. and has been pushing for its rightful place since the time Xi Jinping has come to power. Now, China's push in South China Sea, Senkaku Island, is very well known to the world. But what is not known to the world outside of China-India, conglomerate is involvement of China in the Indian affairs in the Aksai Chin region. Not many in the world are aware about it. Now, let's look at the reason and timing of Nancy Pelosi's visit. Pelosi's visit comes at a time when China is trying to flex its muscle, emboldened by Russian invasion in Ukraine. In the old Chinese paradigm, in the South China Sea, especially, it kept busting. And even today, you've covered that. 21 aircraft busted the air defense identification zone of the Taiwan. So this visit, my question is, meddling in Chinese affairs by Taiwanese affairs by China, was it legitimate? Is question number one. But the question number two is, will this visit of Nancy Pelosi usher a new wave of enmity? And how will that affect India? That is my biggest question. Because Taiwan is not a separate nation, mind you.
Yes.
Not many of our viewers are aware. It is part of Republic of China. And she kept insisting, if you notice, I was carefully watching her speech. She kept telling about one China policy,
Yes.
one China policy, we respect one China policy. But she talked about freedom and she talked about democracy. One China is not a democracy. China is, country of a party. How one China policy, democracy and freedom come together is my biggest, question. And I'm a little confused how Nancy is putting all these three mixing ingredients together. So all this, the long and short of, if I were to put it, I think a new wave of enmity from China, USA, China, Taiwan could get ushered in. And this timing, I don't know, was it correct or not? Time will tell, Nupur.
All right, Group Captain Vinod, of course, the first visit that she was supposed to undertake was in April, I think, and then Ms. Pelosi, of course, got COVID, and thereafter, of course, it got pushed. I'm going to bring in Jason Lee as well. He's reporting for Republic TV from Taipei. Jason, we've been talking about the fact that China, the one China policy that the US has endorsed, and so have many other countries in the world, but the Taiwanese are extremely fearful of what has happened in Hong Kong. And in that sense, give us the reaction that this visit of Nancy Pelosi is getting from the local population over there, because there is a great deal of fear among the Taiwanese right now that Taiwan could ultimately go the Hong Kong way.
I don't think that the Taiwan public really were focusing on her words too much. Some political pundits will do that for them, but I don't think that the general Taiwanese public was paying that much attention to this meeting. I think they're mostly concerned about is if there will be any reaction from mainland China. That's their only real concern.
All right, and what kind of reactions do people over there fear from mainland China? Jason Lee, if you could elaborate on that.
Oh, they would fear military action. They don't want to hear the sirens turn on because those were on during the drill recently. So that's on the forefront of people's minds. But the opinions are split on whether or not something would actually happen.
All right. Also, very quickly, Jason, is economic fallout also something that's worrying people over there?
No, I think it may impact certain industries, like food industry has already been impacted, but I don't see a huge wave of sanctions coming towards Taiwan from mainland China over this.
All right, stay with us, Jason Lee. I'm going to go back to Group Captain Vinod on this one. Group Captain Vinod, economically, China isn't doing too well right now. The no COVID policy that the Chinese government seems to has impacted their domestic economy quite a bit. So do you think in that scenario, what we are seeing in terms of a saber rattling is also directed to its internal constituency?
Nupur, once again, thanks for that question. Let's look at it how will it affect day-to-day lives of people, and how will it affect polity? For the viewers, I want to tell you, 84% of Taiwanese investment, including the small investment of common people, is in mainland China, Nupur. It is not in Taiwan. Most of the industries of Taiwan are dependent on the manufacturing capability of mainland China. Lot of industry that I know of are getting their stuff made in China, bringing it to Taiwan and selling from Taiwan as made in Taiwan by rebranding them. So these things are happening. It will affect even a common man's life. Now the next question, which Jason Lee alluded to a little, is food. The food industry, major part of the food industry is still dependent on mainland China, because Taiwan, if you look at Taiwan and how the population is spread out, it is all spread out on the eastern coast facing China, that side. Because the other side of Taiwan is hilly region, non-arable region. So a lot of its wheat, corn, rice, lot of fishing industry, everything happens in mainland China. So rightfully, it is called the People's Republic of China. But the way Taiwan is flexing its muscle, with Nancy's going there, it will have a great effect on common man's life. And second thing is this siren going off. That will greatly affect day-to-day life, day-to-day traffic, day-to-day going to office and coming back. So which is why my question is, people going gung-ho about Pelosi's visit. Pelosi will come and go. But the lives of Taiwanese people is what I'm worried about.
Right, absolutely. Group Captain Vinod, do stay with us. I think we've also got Major General Bakshi joining us live right now. Major General Bakshi, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Major General Bakshi, the question on everybody's mind today will be, just how far will Beijing go to deter foreign support? Because at the end of the day, this visit is largely seen as a foreign support coming in for Taiwan.
Look, the simple fact is that this has been an exercise in brinkmanship by both sides. When the two presidents had spoken, Xi Jinping had spoken to Joe Biden, he had said, don't play with fire, it will burn you. Now, having made threats like this, I don't think it will be possible to China to sit back and do nothing. It will lose a lot of face. The Americans were also now, their prestige demanded that the Pelosi visit should go on, and they have ensured that the Pelosi visit takes place, albeit with precautions. They were even worried, they took precautions against any Chinese attempt to try and shoot down Nancy Pelosi's aircraft. It came in via the east. It had 8 F-15 fighter jets protecting it, along with the refuelers, etc. So they have taken full precautions. The 4 American aircraft carrier battle groups are in position. One in South China Sea, one in Japan, one in Hawaii Island, etc. They are all fully ready. Now, what is the matrix of options that China has got? It starts with do nothing, just do exercises. China loses face. Xi Jinping is facing the prospects of getting a third term. So he has to look strong. He cannot hope for a third term if there is a big back down, loss of face over Taiwan. Second is that they do a blockade. They surround Taiwan on all sides on the pretext of exercises, do a blockade. They've already stopped export and import from China, right? Third level is that they do some kinetic action. That means they may do some demonstrative missile strikes, not on US targets, but on Taiwanese targets. They would not like to tangle with the United States right away. Third is that there are some islands, Taiwanese islands, close to the Chinese shore. They could go in for one of them and take it as a kind of a warning shot across the bow. The fourth level is that they go in for a full-scale assault, amphibious assault on Taiwan. For that, they'll have to ensure that the American aircraft carrier battle groups don't intervene. That means they target the American aircraft battle groups with Dongfeng missiles and, go out for all-out war. They'll have to cater for American submarines hitting their armada, American cruise missiles targeting their armada. So there are a lot of serious problems with that, and China had said it will be fully ready by around 2025. So is China ready now to go in for a full-scale war? The most major worry is that I don't think China is ready for that. That is why the Americans have preponed, put pressure on China now.
All right, Major General Bakshi, I'll have to interrupt you there. We are getting breaking news right now. We are hearing is that a statement has come in from Taiwan. It says China's drills, military drills have encroached upon our territory. So that's the comment that we are getting right now from Taiwan. I'm going to go across on the ground to Jason Lee. Jason, can you give us the latest in terms of what Taiwan is saying? Of course, it was an extremely resolute Tsai Ing-wen who just said a while ago that we will make sure that our defenses are safe.
Well, the statement is kind of vague, and the sea zones for both sides overlap each other. So it's the truth is that both sides are violating each other's quote-unquote territory on almost a daily basis. So we would need to hear more specifics to make anything out of this. But yeah, she's making the statement to bring attention to the situation, obviously.
But Jason Lee, we have been hearing these kind of statements come in from Tsai Ing-wen for a while now. She has spoken about self-defense. She has spoken about safeguarding democracy, which, by the way, in Taiwan is something that's hailed across the world.
Yes, she's talked about this at length with the foreign media.
I just wanted to ask you also, Jason Lee, are there fears amongst the local Taiwanese population that once again, perhaps they could be caught between these two superpowers, that's the US and China, in their battle for supremacy?
Yes, that's always the concern in Taiwan, not just now, but this is talked about a great deal amongst the Pan-Blue supporters in the opposition that were just being used. And I think people on all sides know that, but on the Pan-Green side, the ruling party side, they don't really emphasize that as much because it benefits them. Because the DPP strongly benefits from having strong U.S. support, where it's like the KMT party is sort of like 50-50 in between mainland China and the U.S.
Also, Jason, what I wanted to ask you is there a fear of a repeat of a Ukraine-like situation? Because what we've seen in Ukraine is that European powers as well as America kept talking about how important an ally they really were. But when it came to the war, apart from sending them arms and ammunition, not much has been done except for sanctions, of course, and Ukraine is still caught in that war. It's almost, 3 months on now?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that due to the situation in Ukraine that people are more worried. I think that those people view the situation as being different because we're an island. So they don't expect to be invaded because of the Ukraine invasion.
All right. I'm going to go back to Group Captain Vinod right now. Group Captain Vinod, we are hearing what Jason Lee is saying. But at the end of the day, Taiwan does have a large amount of Chinese population. About 96% people in Taiwan are of Chinese origin. So in that sense, how do you see this as different from Ukraine? Because that's where a lot of parallels really are being drawn.
Yeah. Nupur, if you could get me into little bigger screen, I want to emphasize a point which Jason talked about. So if you can give me a slightly bigger screen of mine, just me. So if you look at my right here, which is where the air defense identification zone of South China Sea lies. Just beyond that is the air defense identification zone of China. What Jason talked about, the entire ADIZ of Taiwan overlaps both ADIZ of South China Sea and mainland China. So the aspect of each other breaching each other's territory is a possibility because 70% of ADIZ of Taiwan overlaps into mainland China. So that is point number one. And second is China invading Taiwan will be a joke of sorts because as far as China is concerned, Taiwan is integral part of China. So it has to be looked at in that perspective. But China doesn't need to go to the level of, invading or carrying out a offensive action using military. China has much more tools in his hands, which is what he talked about, the graduated response. It will start from economy, tightening common man's pockets. That is where it will start, and mark my words, Nupur, and that is going to start immediately. All it has to do is, cut down few basis points of investment from the mainland China, the Taiwanese people who have invested in mainland China, small-scale industries,
right?
Stop their supplies. All this will start. All this will start pinching. Right. And eventually, I don't know whether this move was right or not, Tsai Ing-wen will feel the heat.
Absolutely. So as you're pointing out, we are expecting to see a graded response. I'm going to go back to General Bakshi on this. General Bakshi, for India, how should we be reading these developments? Because at the end of the day, China is something, that continues to bother us. Their expansionist policies are well known. And India, of course, has been, battling those. So in terms of that, how do you see this going forward?
Look, if China takes Taiwan, it will dramatically alter the perspective in the Indian Pacific region, right? What is constraining China's breakout towards the Pacific and beyond into the Indian Ocean is Taiwan. Taiwan is like an unsinkable aircraft carrier just 80 miles from the Chinese shore. And as such, it constrains China's options of a breakout towards the Pacific or towards the Indian Ocean. To that extent, the loss of Taiwan, any Chinese attempt to capture Taiwan has serious strategic ramifications for the world and for India. Number two, our defenses are tied up in the manner that Taiwan ties down a significant amount of Chinese military power, air power, naval power, land power, which would otherwise be available for projection against India. So if Taiwan goes all of a sudden, all that power is rendered surplus to come to Ladakh, to come to Arunachal Pradesh, to come to Tibet and create problems for us. So it is in our interest to see that Taiwan stands up to Chinese bullying. It is in the interest of the world to see that Taiwan doesn't cave in. And that is why Nancy Pelosi is there. The Americans had a policy of strategic ambiguity so far that they wouldn't really put it down in black and white whether they would intervene if China attacked Taiwan. But the simple fact is that Joe Biden stated as much that they would come to the effect. Then Washington official term made him walk back that thing. But now there were a lot of ifs and buts about Nancy Pelosi coming. She has come. This is a clear signal.
Those are very important points that you bring out. Also, the ambiguity over this visit till the very last moment that she touched down does send sort of dichotomous signals. Do stay with us, all of you. We're going to slip into a very short break. We're going to come back with our coverage. You are watching Republic TV, and we come back and bring you more details of the visit of Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan.
this is the place he was heading here. This is the heart of Kabul. This is the place where a lot of ministries are located here. You know, the town Shirpur, one of the places in Kabul, on the entrance of Al-Qaeda organization,
As a monkeypox cases tally rises to 8, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya addressed the Parliament over the disease, claiming that monkeypox is not a new disease and that it is being witnessed by the world, and also assured that a detailed probe is, in fact, the research is also being conducted on monkeypox.
8 केस और 8 डिसीज़ डीप कॉन्टैक्ट से स्प्रेड होता है। माँ को होता है तो बच्चे को होने की संभावना होती है, हस्बैंड को होता है तो वाइफ को होने की संभावना होती है। कोई स्पेसिफिक समुदाय या तो स्पेसिफिक को ही हो ऐसा नहीं है, डीप कॉन्टैक्ट जिसको हो उसको होने की संभावना होती है और इस तरह से ये केस फैलता है।
The protesters are trying to exert force on the barricades and trying to break it down.
Mr. Chatterjee, would you like to respond?
Sonia Gandhi coming out of the, and we can see Priyanka Gandhi is also here along with Sonia Gandhi.
Sanjay Rao Singh outside his residence. He has come out. He has come out. Case with another fresh positive reported from the national capitals.
And news in brief now. Bahujan Samajwadi Party chief Mayawati has announced that her party will support the NDA's candidate for vice presidential elections, Jagdeep Dhankar, in the upcoming elections on the 6th of August. Taking to Twitter, the BSP Supremo also said that she took the decision keeping in mind the wider public interest and its movement in the election being held for the post of vice president. The 34th batch of the Amarnath Yatra left for the holy shrine from the Bhagwati Nagar base camp in Jammu. A total of 226 pilgrims left for the holy caves, which included 152 pilgrims. You are watching Republic TV, and when we come back, we bring you responses from China to this visit by Nancy Pelosi.
Is computing in science and engineering an essential part of industry growth?
The technology is fast changing, and all the products that we are providing to the society, they require knowledge from interdisciplinary area.
Can the study of two different domains make students adept with problem solving?
I would just say that apart from getting the educational degrees, focus on developing skills for yourself.
To know more, watch Amrita School of Engineering presents Shaping the Future of India this weekend only on Republic TV.
Good evening and welcome, viewers. Now, you all know that I'm no fan of American foreign policy, but I'm so glad that the Americans are calling China's bluff this minute. That's the live developing story in Taiwan. I know that America is doing all of this to distract from their internal problems. Their economy is tanking, reaching near recession levels. There is gun violence all over America. It's a complete mess. Job cuts have started. Inflation is sky high. And I know and you know that the weak Biden has sent Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan to distract the angry and frustrated American people. Ladies and gentlemen, Biden is in such trouble at home that he needs to start a war, or seem to be starting a war, to increase his pathetic approval ratings back home. So all in all, Biden and Pelosi are being opportunistic politicians, and that's what all this drama of landing in Taiwan is all about. Now, having said that, I'm really happy, delighted in fact, that China's bluff is being called. China is a country that tries to rule and run by fear. But what does it have? It has nothing. It has an army that gets a bloody nose and is defeated when they try and infringe on our sovereignty like we gave them in Ladakh.
From this body only, I have won 21 international medals, including that of Asian Games, World Championships, and the first ever medal in the Paralympics. That means somewhere I have contributed in getting my national flag to fly high in the global arena.
In friendship. We thank you for your leadership. We want the world to recognize that.
Top headlines at 10:30. Pelosi meets Taiwanese president, says want world to recognize Taiwan's leadership. Taiwan digs its heels in, says will do whatever it takes for self-defense. China on war footing escalates mega military drills near Taiwan. Taiwan fires big charge, accuses China of breaching the territory as Pelosi visits Taiwan. As world watches the unfolding of mega face-off with bated breath, Russia backs China, calls Pelosi's visit a clear provocation. Good morning, viewers. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. We are live and breaking, tracking the big story this morning. Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. In fact, the Speaker of the US of House of Representatives is in Taiwan despite serious warnings from China, escorted by Taiwanese fighter jets. Pelosi's plane touched down in Taipei yesterday. So tracking all the latest. In fact, just a short while back, Pelosi also met Taiwanese president as well and sent out a very strong message saying that the world wants the world to recognize Taiwan's leadership. In fact, the Chinese minister there also issuing a big statement saying that China will be the first to use nukes. So nuke warning coming in from China after after Pelosi met the Taiwanese president. So another provocation by Chinese military there, issuing yet another warning, and this time it's a nuke warning by China. That is the latest, in fact, coming in. We have some sound bites as well. Let's listen in to them.
My receiving your kind words as well as this invitation is really received and appreciated by members of Congress. On both sides of the aisle, on both sides of the Capitol, great enthusiasm for the U.S.-Taiwan relationship. Let's just put it in perspective. Over 4 decades ago, the Taiwan Relations Act was built in building a strong bond between our two countries, advancing our shared interests of governance, economy, and security, while respecting the one China policy. Our solidarity with you is more important than ever as you defend Taiwan and your freedom. In our bilateral meeting, we discussed key opportunities to deepen our partnership, upholding democracy and human rights and respect for the individual, combating, well, I'll get around to comment. 3 areas that I just mentioned: security, economy, governance. Security, our relationship is a strong one, and we discussed how we can make it stronger and more and up to date. In economy, we talked about a trade agreement that might be possible and soon. And in governance, among other things, and in governance, I want to salute Taiwan for the leadership you have provided in fighting COVID. Probably one of the highest rates of vaccination, but also the lowest number of deaths from COVID, a real model for the world. It's about science, but it's also about community acceptance of a plan, and that is called leadership. So thank you for that, a lesson to all of us. And so as we deal with those 3 areas, we come here following the President's lead on the Indo-Pacific economic framework. That's interesting. We support that. Again, in terms of security, economy, and governance. Taiwan's not a part of that, so we want to build a different set with the economic package, with our security package, and a trade agreement, hopefully, that is imminent. So this is a very important time for us because we came here to listen and to learn about how we can do this more effectively, really achieving the goals for Taiwan that we all aspire to but don't understand as fully as we do now because of this trip. So again, it's a great pride for us today, the first woman speaker in the House, meeting the first woman president of Taiwan. We have some enthusiasm for that, and again, we're very proud of our representative, Sandra Kirk.
So the Chinese minister there making a very strong statement that's saying that China won't use nukes first. In fact, saying that it will not be the first one to use nukes is what we are given to understand. At the same time, China has also released footage of military exercises, the military drills it's conducting at the Taiwan Strait. So that's in fact the footage as well of the that China has released the footage of the military drills being conducted by China at the Taiwan Strait. So you can see there a big action there by the Chinese at the Taiwan Strait. So that is the latest coming in right now. China's military drills, which are in full force. Remember, China has planned to carry out massive military drills between August 4th till the August 7th. In fact, an operation that would also imply huge economic repercussions as well on Taiwan.
东部战区部队有充分的信心和能力反击一切挑衅，坚决捍卫国家主权和领土。
So with the military drills that China plans to undertake, it intends to put pressure on Taiwan militarily as well as the economic pressure. Along with the military pressure, trade routes to Europe, Middle East will also be blocked as a result of the drills that China intends to carry out from the Taiwan Strait. It would not just that, it would even exacerbate existing supply chain woes as well and sanctions on goods supply by China on Taiwan. So those are some of the pressures that China wants to put on Taiwan with the military drills that it is carrying out and intends to carry out massive military drills in the near future as well, to be precise, between August 4th and August 7th. Major General G.D. Bakshi continues to be with us. Major General, how do you view these latest developments, especially with regard to the military drills? We also understand massive military drills will be carried out specifically between August 4th and August 7th by the China.
Look, that is exactly what we were saying. I'm not very sure if China wants to go kinetic right now. There is no need for it to hurry. And what we anticipate is a kind of a blockade option. That is when you exercise, it is already most of its naval units seem to have surrounded Taiwan right now under the pretext of exercises. And if it wants to step on the heat, it will start putting economic pressure and then intensify it to a blockade. A blockade has the problem for the others that who will turn the conflict kinetic first. So I do think that the initial responses of the Chinese will be non-kinetic. They are not going to jump straight into live fire onto Taiwanese targets, either by missile strikes or otherwise air strikes. It would be graduated pressure, and the Chinese, if they have to go for any higher option, anything kinetic, may like to do it on their own terms and timings, rather than be pushed by the Nancy Pelosi visit. to straight away hurry up and give a very knee-jerk kind of a response. That is not the way the Chinese work. They are rather risk-averse. They like to go slowly. Don't forget, these armed forces haven't fought for 43 years. So there is that hesitation in turning kinetic, which the Russians did not have. They just went into, when they threatened, when people ignored their threat, they just turned kinetic and went into Ukraine. Their performance, initially there was a lot of underperformance, which has again put some hesitation into the Chinese military mind. But at the end of the day, loss of face is very serious for the Oriental, especially the Chinese.
Yes.
And when Xi Jinping is trying to maneuver for a third term, unprecedented third term in office, well, he has to have something to show. He can't be seen as in the face of an American pushback. That ends his big power dreams, that ends his appeal to his domestic constituency.
Yes.
So China
Major
will
General,
respond.
yes, if I can interrupt you just for a second, how do you read into this footage that has now been released by China of the military drills? Because on one hand, it has released the military drills footage, and on the other hand, it is saying that it will not be the first to use nukes. How do you read into this?
Good question. You know, the Chinese have a no first use policy. So when they say we will not be the first to use nuclear weapons, actually it is an implied threat that things could turn nuclear if push comes to shove. You know, even Russia had resorted to such nuclear saber rattling. So the Chinese are doing it in a very more sophisticated way by saying we have given a no first use pledge and we will not be the first to use nuclear weapons. The unstated implications, if you read between the line, is that there could be a conflict that could go to the nuclear threshold or approach the nuclear threshold. So it is a very roundabout way of giving a nuclear threat.
Right. And do you see this in any way? Do you think that the US as well as it could deter in any way US and Taiwan when it comes to the military drills being carried out by China?
Look, the entire purpose of this American exercise was that China had held out dire threats. And the United States of America, being the greatest or the only superpower in the world, did not want to be seen as backing down. In the face of threats, it would create a new equation altogether, where it would be quite apparent that America has backed down in the face of direct Chinese threats. So they went ahead with the Nancy Pelosi visit, albeit with precautions. Very, very certain precautions. They were even concerned that the Chinese would try and shoot down Nancy Pelosi's plane. So they, came in via the eastern direction, away from China, and then they escorted it with about 8 F-15s from Japan, as also, they had their refuelers, etc., for them to come so far and go back, etc. I suppose even on the way out, they would like to escort Nancy Pelosi back and not leave it to chance. But will China turn kinetic right away? I don't think so. If they are planning to do, like I said, what is their range of options? One is just posture, which is what they've already started doing. They've started this major exercise 4th to 8th of August. This posturing could be turned into a blockade, which then, puts the onus of the firing the first shot on the other side to, if they want to break down that blockade or contest the blockade, then they could sort of go in for a, symbolic shot across the bow by firing on Taiwanese target with their missile stroke by air attacks. Then they could go to a medium level option, trying to take any Taiwanese islands close to the China mainland, and then they could go the full scale option. So I do not reckon that the Chinese, given how risk averse they really are, given the fact that they are not done any kinetic action for 41 years, though I would not rule it out, but the chances are much less. Percentile chances are much less. So they will escalate by demonstrative military deployments. They have already done that. They could escalate to a blockade. They could escalate to symbolic strikes, but they will do it. I don't think they will do it as a knee-jerk response. They have all the time. Why should it be tied only to Nancy Pelosi's visit? Even post the visit, I don't think the crisis will be over. The Chinese will continue to graduate pressure.
Yes. Well,
because otherwise,
yes,
they stand to lose face very badly.
Major General, stay with us. Slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we'll come back to you in just a bit, and just stay with us just to take our viewers through the visuals that we are playing on our screens. This is the fresh footage of Chinese drills which are being carried out, the military exercise being carried out by the Chinese forces there. So that is the latest footage that has been released by China with respect to the military drills being carried out. It intends to send out a very strong message. In fact, what we are given to understand is that China has warned airlines operating in Asia to avoid flying in areas around Taiwan where it is conducting military exercises in response to US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island nation. In fact, an official notice has also been sent on Tuesday's Hong Kong time, designating 6 areas of airspace as danger zones, according to carriers who received the message as well. So China there sending out a very stern warning and asking airlines operating in Asia to avoid flying in these zones above the Taiwan Strait, as the military drills that are being carried out by China on the Taiwan Strait. Slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we'll continue with our live coverage as China goes ballistic when it comes to its aggression on Taiwan, conducting military drills above the Taiwan Strait.
Is computing in science and engineering an essential part of industry growth?
The technology is fast changing, and all the products that we are providing to the society, they require knowledge from interdisciplinary area.
Can the study of 2 different domains make students adept with problem solving?
I would just say that apart from getting the educational degrees, focus on developing skills for yourself.
To know more, watch Amrita School of Engineering presents Shaping the Future of India this weekend only on Republic TV.
मैं भी ये चाहता हूँ, हमेशा दिल में सोता हूँ शाम को, मेरे को दर्द होता है कलेजे के अंदर कि चाइना आए तो आज भी मैं खाने के लिए तैयार हूँ। युद्ध भूमि में दुश्मन से जब हम लड़ा करते थे, तूफानों को मोड़ दिया करते थे। अभी जितना बॉर्डर पर मारते हैं, उतना तो हम रोड पे छोड़ दिया करते थे।
The only thing which is still in his mind is Naam, Namak and Nishan. Naam of his battalion. Yes. Namak, of course, he is eating off the banner, and the Nishan of the banner he is carrying.
After Rajasthan reported 2 suspected cases of monkeypox, the state health minister said that 2 persons with symptoms have already been referred to Jaipur from Bharatpur and Kishangarh, and that their samples have also been sent to the National Institute of Virology in Pune. However, no monkeypox cases have been confirmed from Rajasthan. A quick roundup of all that's making news. The US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi addressed the Taiwanese parliament, stressing on 3 agendas of the meet. Pelosi said that US delegation was looking forward to working together with Taiwan on security, economy and governance. Hailing her efforts, Pelosi also added that the entire world should recognize Taiwan's President Tsai's leadership.
We look forward to our conversation about how we can work together, learning from you and sharing some thoughts ourselves on how to protect the planet from the climate crisis, how to accelerate and learn from you how you addressed the COVID crisis, how we advance respect for all of the people in our countries as we go forward. And again, we come in friendship. We thank you for your leadership. We want the world to recognize that.
China called US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan a major political provocation to escalate official exchanges between the US and Taiwan, and said that China will never accept it. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs also said that the US side is trying to use Taiwan to control China and constantly distorting and hollowing out the One China principle. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce said that Chinese mainland will halt natural sand exports to Taiwan region from today. They have also suspended the imports of citrus fruits, chilled white hairtail, among others, to Taiwan. Now, according to General Administration of Customs of China, the suspensions come after Taiwan welcomed the US delegation. Beijing, meanwhile, summoned the US ambassador to its country to protest her trip. US Speaker Pelosi arrived in Taiwan in an unannounced visit, ignoring China's multiple warnings, prompting the summoning of the US envoy to China over the egregious trip to the island, which Beijing considers its own territory. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will arrive in Bengaluru today to take part in Sankalp Se Siddhi conference of the Confederation of the Indian Industries. During his visit, Shah will also hold a meet with state BJP leaders. Shah's trip to the city comes amid unrest among a section of the BJP cadres who are upset with the spate of murders of Hindutva activists. As the Amarnath Yatra began 2 years post the pandemic, an important announcement was made by the J&K Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. He noted that due to several accidents in the Yatra due to inclement weather conditions, the Amarnath Yatra will have to be halted. The J&K Lieutenant Governor also asked all devotees to perform and complete all their rituals before 5th of August. Meanwhile, protests erupted in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where people protested against rising prices and high inflation. And people even thought that they were made to pay hefty electricity bills. Protesters also raised concerns that they were made to pay more amount of service charges and taxes than was due.
इससे पहले भी बिलात आते रहे हैं, लेकिन इस दफ़ा जो बिल जारी किए महकमा बरक़ियात की जानिब से, उसके अंदर फ्यूल एडजस्टमेंट चार्जेस के नाम पे एक बहुत बड़ी जो अमाउंट है वो हर बिल के अंदर ऐड की गई है। और जुल्म की इंतहा देखें कि एक तो पहले आप फ्यूल एडजस्टमेंट चार्जेस डाल रहे हैं, उसके बाद आप उन चार्जेस के ऊपर टैक्स दोबारा डाल रहे हैं। वो इतने बड़े आपके अमाउंट बन गए कि अगर किसी का 10,000 बिल है तो उसके अंदर 4,500 से 5,000 रुपया जो है वो फ्यूल एडजस्टमेंट चार्जेस की मद में एक नया जो है वो गुंडा टैक्स शामिल कर दिया गया, जो एक आम आदमी की दस्तरस से बाहर है। और उस वजह से इस वक्त आपको पूरे आज़ाद कश्मीर के अंदर जो है लोग एहतजाज करते हुए नजर